Welcome to the 49 Yard Dash podcast, the podcast on your San Francisco 49ers, hosted by myself, Stephen Ellis, and joined always by my good friend Josh LaFon. And we finally got Luke back on the podcast to preview this Super Bowl and go over some year-end awards. So we're going to get into all that, but before we do get into those things, first I'll ask, how's it going, guys? Josh?
Yeah, man, just want to say, hey, Bert, hey, Ernie, one quick thing, the 9/11 was an inside job, and
What the heck is going on?
I'm trying to do a Bert and Ernie voice, man, and a little spit take pre-episode ruined it, but 9/11 was an inside job. I just want to go ahead and say it. Check out Tower 7.
I'll just let everybody know this is our second go around, and I'll release the first go around and what happened at some point. But we had a little accident that delayed. I'm gonna delete it. Release it.
Hey, Steve, don't release it. This is Bert. Don't release it.
This is the weirdest intro. All right, Luke, how you doing, man?
Yo, doing good, man.
Good.
Nice episodes for my boy Jimmy G, man. The last one.
Josh probably doesn't approve. Oh, there's Amber.
Nope, nice. I don't at all. Man. I had to go ahead and get Amber loaded and locked and loaded and all that, man. Don't agree with Luke's background, but hey, man, there's what it is, man.
All right, guys. So, as we know, this upcoming Sunday is Super Bowl Sunday. We were hoping that the 49ers would be involved in this event, of course, but they fell just short. It's the Rams, the Bengals, the team who everybody predicted to be here, right? The Cincinnati Bengals, as we all said in our preseason episode. This is who all three of us predicted. Yeah. No. This game, a team a lot of people picked, a team that nobody picked. I think I see more Bengals picks, at least on Twitter and stuff personally. But let's dive deep into this. What are some key matchups that you think could really be deciding factors in this game? Let's go Luke. We haven't heard Luke.
Hey, thank you, man.
Yeah, let's start us off, man, on a good note.
I think it's really going to be decided on in the trenches, man. Mm-hmm. Is that offensive line going to be able to hold up to the stout Rams pass rush that we've all seen, love, Mm-hmm. I mean, didn't Tennessee, who's got a good defense, but didn't they put Burrow on his butt like 9 times or something crazy?
Yeah, they did. And I'll tell you why. It's because the Bengals are even more inclined to get beat on the interior, and the Titans have really good defensive tackles. Jeffrey Simmons leading them. They're even more prone to get beat on the inside, and I think Burrow this year has been a lot better with dealing with pressure on the edges than he has from the inside, where he has to escape the pocket left or right. And Aaron Donald is just a man. You would want to try to do that.
Yeah.
Josh, what you thinking, man?
Yeah, no, I kind of agree with Luke too, and along with your points, the reason why Burrow has been able to escape the pocket is kind of like when you're playing pickup football or flag football when we play it. The last thing you want to do is have your defensive ends, your defensive tackles flush a guy in a certain direction. When Burrow is flushed in a certain direction, that's when he's most effective. When he is pressured in the pocket, has to step up in it, that's when, you can kind of make some things happen as far as the defense goes. The matchup to me comes down to, okay, who does Los Angeles have outside of Jalen Ramsey? Obviously, David Long, me being a Michigan guy, he's a Michigan player, fan of his, of course, but in him being a high priority or upper echelon, I guess would be the better way to phrase it, slot corner in the league this year. How does Jalen Ramsey and David Long match up with this Bengals offensive attack? That's something we'll have to see, because no doubt Jalen Ramsey is going to be put on an island in this game. He's not going to need any help. He's not going to ask for any help. So it's going to come down to what does the rest of that Bengals defense do to counteract or what does the rest of the Rams defense do to counteract the Bengals offensive attack?
Definitely so. First, who do you think has more receiving yards in this game, Cooper Kupp or Jamar Chase?
I'll go Jamar Chase just
Okay,
because of the obvious. That seems to be Joe Burrow's kind of bailout option. And Jamar knows what he's going to do as far as the intangibles go. If Burrow's going to start scrambling, it has seemed like this whole year, Jamar kind of works with him as far as when you're kind of moving things outside of the tackles and stuff. So I'll go Jamar.
Okay, Luke.
I think Cup is it, man. I mean, I could see him getting 10 plus targets. He's too reliable.
Yeah, no, honestly, they're both definitely the go-to option. What do you guys think of? I heard this. Now I can't remember what TV show it was, but somebody threw out the idea of putting Jalen Ramsey on T. Higgins and doubling Jamar Chase with the opposite corner and having a safety shadowing the whole time. So you're pretty much taking T. Higgins out of the game entirely and hoping that Jamar Chase can't be a double team. Honestly, I think either way works fine. I think Ramsey I think he's the best corner in the league, so he's going to be the best option on either one of those guys. And then, but what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, he is. The issue with trying to line up Ramsey on Higgins and then double teaming the rest, Chase and Boyd and all that. The issue with that is where does Higgins line up? Primarily, he's an outside guy.
Oh, yeah.
So who are you going to commit to that? Are you going to put David Long on that? Are you going to try to put Eric Weddle on, Eric Weddle and David Long trying to double team T. Higgins? I don't know. David Long, from my history with him, he's a 5'10" corner. He's a great slot guy. Eric Weddle's and, over the hill kind of safety. So I still don't know if two guys on one in his prime is going to work out. I know the show you're referencing. I believe it was on Pat McAfee's show. But, beside the point, I don't know if that is still going to work out. It seems to be that Jamar Chase is their number one wide receiver still. That's going to be Burrow's guy. And no matter who you double, there's still going to be another guy open.
That was kind of my thought too. Is I just want to throw it out there to see your thoughts. I would rather put Ramsey on Chase and just go from there. Because I think if you put Ramsey on Higgins, that probably takes care of that side. But if you're doubling Chase, then I think maybe Tyler Boyd is the guy that's getting open constantly. He's a really good slot receiver. All right, I got another. Akers or Mixon, who has more rushing yards? Luke?
Oh, man, that's tough. I think right now, Mixon is the better back. I mean, I guess he's just had more time to prove himself, although I think Akers is a really good back.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, man.
It's tough.
It is
you think
tough.
about who Mixon is running against.
Yeah, that's it, right?
Yeah.
I'll go Mixon, man. Yeah,
Okay.
he's a stout back.
Okay.
Just to be different, I guess I'll go, what does the offensive identity come down to? I think at the end of the day, the Bengals, when they're in a tough spot, they're going to lean on Joe Burrow as opposed to Joe Mixon. Whereas the Rams, if it's third and short, I don't necessarily think they're going to throw that, 5-yard dig. They might lean more on Cam Akers just based on Sean McVay's coaching style. So I'll go Cam Akers just because that simple fact when it's short yardage or, hey, if we're between a pass and a run play, Sean McVay is more of the coach that's going to let's lean on the run game. We've got a proven back in Akers. Let's lean on him. Whereas Zach Taylor has proven this year, if he's in that same spot, he's going to lean on his quarterback. He's going to lean in the passing game more so than the running game.
That's true. Yeah. And I was also wondering, let's say honestly, you could go with either way, but let's focus on the Rams side. If they do win this Super Bowl, I'm really curious as to where Sean McVay is kind of viewed as and what echelon of coaches, where he might rank and possible head coach rankings. Because obviously Belichick's in the tier by himself, and then I think you have Tomlin and John Harbaugh, and then I'm probably leaving people out, but maybe he's in that next tier. Maybe he even bumps
Yeah.
up. I don't know. I wouldn't put him up there, but to some people, maybe.
You know, I mean, Steve, you know, I'm a big Pat McAfee guy, and
Yeah.
I'm a big Rich Eisen guy too. Of course, I just love and live and die by all these NFL shows and podcasts and all these things. But it seems like most of these guys have the consensus that if McVay wins the Super Bowl, he's kind of done with coaching. He's going to kind of go that John Madden route of, hey, I've burned myself out. I want to get into broadcasting. I want to pursue other venues. So, you know, hey, maybe he wins this Super Bowl and then he's done with it. For me, in my mind, if he wins the Super Bowl, I think he's going to ride out in the sunset and go that John Madden route. He can make the same kind of money he's making now as far as coaching in broadcasting, potentially with Amazon, Thursday Night Football, Sunday Night Football, Monday Night Football, all these opportunities opening up. I think he's got plenty of opportunities, you know, in front of him. But as far as in his coaching echelon, no doubt he's a step behind Bill Belichick. But in my mind, if he wins this Super Bowl with his acumen, with all the things he's done for Matt Stafford and for all these players, getting to the pinnacle, not reaching it, and then if he finally gets over the hump this year, he'll be a notch below Bill Belichick, in my mind anyway.
Nice. I don't know if you have any further thoughts about that, Luke, and what you think of McVay, but
No, yeah, I agree with Josh, man. I mean, you look at guys like LaFleur or whoever's it. He's a Green Bay, right?
yeah.
I mean, they've got what I thought was a pretty stacked team and one of the best quarterbacks behind them. You know, they always seem to choke, and some of that's on him or A-Rod or whoever you want to blame it on. But if McVay actually does get over the hump, then, you know, I feel like he's got to take a step up.
Yeah, definitely so. Yeah. It's all about getting a Super Bowl ring, man. I mean, that's what we want for Shanahan. I wasn't planning on mentioning this, but it just crossed my mind. I've heard people compare Shanahan's career, how it could end up being very similar to Andy Reid's, because for a long time, Andy Reid had that reputation of being this offensive genius, but just couldn't win that one game. And right now, Shanahan with the blown lead in Atlanta, even though he was controlling the offense, the blown lead in Atlanta, and then blowing the lead in the Super Bowl, and now technically they blew a lead in the NFC Championship this year. He's kind of getting some of that rap. But if he can, maybe during this Trey Lance era, if he can get one, then it changes everything. Everything changes with that one Lombardi.
Yeah, sure. And that's kind of the thing. I think the reason people are kind of comparing him to John Madden, of course, John Madden retired before he was in his 40s from coaching. Of course, everybody remembers him from the football games and from broadcasting. You know, you, Luke, and I have heard games he's broadcast, and we've all played his games and things. And of course, you know, with McVay, he's such an intense guy. He puts his all into it the same way Madden did. And he just kind of burns himself out to the point where it's like, I don't have anything left to give. And that's, I think, in my mind, why people compare him to Madden in that way, because Madden did the same thing. He burned himself out to the point where he didn't have anything left to give. It was like, well, let me do something else in my life where I can enjoy it. And as far as these other guys go, you know, if McVay gets a ring, I think he's still going to dip, like I mentioned earlier. Just because of that simple fact.
Oddly enough, this is the first
having
time I've
something
heard
else
that.
to live for. Yeah, and it's probably been something talked about. We haven't mentioned on the podcast, but it's been something talked about pretty frequently over the last couple of years. I know NBC made a couple passes at him even last year, trying to get him on Sunday Night Football.
Wow.
Amazon acquired the rights to Thursday Night Football to potentially, you know, make some moves. Maybe Romo, maybe McVay as an analyst, and then, you know, play-by-play guy, Al Michaels, or some other guys. So he's definitely in the mix. He's been courted by some other people. It's just kind of like in the John Madden deal. Does he pursue getting a Super Bowl ring first, or does he just hang it up? I'm done with it. I'm burnt out. I'm moving on to broadcast. And that's going to be the thing to watch with him, I think. Obviously, Zach Taylor, he just seems like a lifer. he's a football guy, man. So
Yeah.
he's going to be in it. But, with McVay on the other side, does he get the ring? Does he hang it up, or does he kind of hang around for the long haul?
It's funny. I'm actually still not completely sold that Zach Taylor is a great coach. I'm not sure, but he's somebody that going this year people thought might be on the hot seat. His team is in the Super Bowl. So, I mean, if you can win this game, if you have a Lombardi, man, that that really does a number on your name for sure. Ultimately, who do you guys think gets this Lombardi? Zach Taylor, McVay, Burrow, Stafford, which one? Let's again start with Luke, man, and maybe a score prediction too.
Man, it's weird. If the Bengals could just start off by not getting down by like 20 points, they've done in every other game where they have to claw back at the end. I think they'd have a chance. I pick against the Bengals, in my mind every week, and they somehow end up winning. And then to beat the Chiefs is absolutely amazing. So I can't count them out. But again, it's like I got to pick the Rams, who I really feel like are the better team. But I hope the Bengals prove me wrong. I'm kind of rooting for them, but my mind says Rams.
Any specific score?
Oh yeah. Let's see. How about 31-20?
Okay, an 11-point win. Nice.
Yeah.
Josh?
So I'm going to go against Luke here. I'm going to go with the Bungles here.
I knew you were.
The only team in the NFL to have an outdoor practice facility. And that's been the biggest thing discussed on, again, the Pat McAfee show, who I'm all of a sudden a obituary fan of and listener of. They've talked about, hey, if the Bengals win the Super Bowl, do they build an indoor facility, or do they say, hey, we won the Super Bowl because we have an outdoor facility? Even the Cincinnati Bearcats, a small tier Division I team in the same city, has an indoor facility to train in. So it's kind of pathetic, but they're a gritty team, man. Mm-hmm. You look at Burrow, you look at Chase, you look at Boyd, you look at Nixon, man. Bates. Weapons for days. A defense that is underrated, no doubt. Mm-hmm. A defense that, when we've gone over their players and things, the only player that comes to mind is Jesse Bates. Mm-hmm. And they have a ton of other studs under him. So I'm going to go Bengals 24, Rams 23, and a walk-off field goal by Zach McPherson.
Nice. Go, baby.
Alabama, baby.
And he's going to say, I guess we're winning the Super Bowl.
Yeah, no, Zach McPherson is just swing low, sweet chariots, man. That dude he's hanging, man. Yes. And he can kick a ball. And absolutely. I think it's going to come down to his leg and his ability to close the deal. And of course, that's what it's come down to all playoffs. So I'll go 24-23 Bengals. Or sorry, nice. Bungles, soon to be Bengals.
My other
with some hashtag retweet on their name.
My last one I forgot to ask was, does Matthew Stafford throw an interception on this game? Yes. Yes. 2 years.
Ooh, it's Matt Stafford, man.
Yeah.
Is it to Jesse Bates? One of the best.
Yes.
He's got arguably the best ball skills of any safety, man.
Sure. I mean, Matt Stafford is sugar-free Brett Favre. I mean, what are we doing here?
Brett Favre is he's going to be a part of my little segment at the end, just so you know. So that's just
sure. Hey, that's fine, man. I'm looking forward to the segment, man.
Yeah,
hopefully I don't do another spit take all over the laptop again. But as far as Matt Stafford goes, he feels like a sugar-free Brett Favre. I love Matt Stafford. I would love him on the Niners personally. I was all in on the potential trade that was discussed before the Trey Lance decision was made. But I love Matt Stafford, but at the end of the day, he can't get the job done, and neither could Brett Favre, and that's kind of in the mold of which he's in. So, we'll see. He needs a good defense, he needs a good run game, and he needs enough weapons to bail him out, like we saw for years and years and years that Brett Favre needed.
Well, I'm actually going to say that Matthew Stafford gets it done this time. I'm with Luke on this one. I think that the trench mismatch is going to be too much in this one. Honestly, the Tennessee was almost too much. Jeffrey Simmons and those boys were almost. I think that Aaron Donald, Von Miller, and Leonard Floyd are going to be too much. And I say that the Rams win 30-23.
Okay, so here's a question.
Okay.
And again, because I'm a sucker, I heard this on the Pat McAfee show today.
Okay.
That they tested Joe Burrow in the same test that they did with first responders for how you respond in critical situations. That is one of the questions or one of the tests that Cincinnati gave him before they took him number 1 overall. And he tested in the 95th percentile of first responders, potentially out of 100 of how you would respond in chaotic situations.
Joe Shiesty.
That's why Joe Shiesty, which people don't attribute to being a slur, shyster. Joe Shiesty, Joe Shyster. But anyway, they made the point of how he responds in an elite level in critical situations. So for that reason, like I said before, I'm going Bengals. And I would like to know you guys' MVP of the game. I know you both picked the Rams. I'm the only Bengals participant here in this game. But who do you have as MVP? For me personally, I have Jesse Bates for the same reason Steve mentioned earlier, being one of the best players on the ball in the entire NFL. I have him getting a couple picks. I wouldn't be surprised I have him getting 2 picks.
Whoa,
I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, there you go. But even if he doesn't get 2 picks, he's going to be in situations where he's making critical plays in this game. So I would like to know who you guys have as potential Super Bowl MVPs for the Los Angeles Rams.
Who you got, Luke? Because I got 2 guys, and if you pick one of them, I'll go with the other.
Okay. I'll go Donald.
Okay.
Yeah.
Think he's gonna wreck it.
Yeah, I think he's gonna wreck it, man.
Okay. That was one of my 2.
That's a good point.
So I'll go Cooper Kupp then. He was my other option. So I'll go Cooper Kupp. I'll say he has like a legit 130 and a touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's the thing, man, is when it comes to this game, of course, it's the finale of the season, but who do you double? You're going to have to double somebody. Odell, of course, has dropped off a touch. We saw kind of how the 49ers played him over the last 2 games in the NFC Championship, and then they're in Week 18 with Ambry kind of sitting in coverage and, EJ Mosley.
That's it.
Yeah, sure. Of course I did. And, of course, Emmanuel Mosley kind of – but both of them played kind of drop coverage, let him – hey, if you're going to catch it, we're going to keep you within 7-8 yards and short of that. And then Cooper Kupp's going to kind of be his own deal. So I'm kind of curious to see how this game goes in that regard, just because of, hey, which one of them gets doubled, which one of them is left one-on-one, with Jesse Bates being such a great ball
Mike Hilton has
attacker,
been good too,
I guess.
The corner.
Sorry?
Mike Hilton has been really good lately too.
Yeah, no, he's been great this playoff for sure.
He really has.
Even going back to the 49ers game, he's been great. But it's kind of coming down to, hey, do you want to leave a veteran star wide receiver and Odell open one-on-one, or would you rather, leave Cooper one-on-one?
One of them's going to get it, I think.
Exactly. At least at some point, one of these guys is going to be one-on-one the majority of the game, and it's going to come down to who do you want to be in that situation.
Oh yeah, definitely. We got 2 Rams, 1 Bengals. We'll see. I wish it was the Niners, but that's not how it works, unfortunately. All right, we can move on to our yearly awards. We got a lot here, and we'll just all 3 go through them. Let me see. I'm going to start with, let's start with comeback player of the year. Who's the comeback player of the year for you guys? I'll start it off, and to stick with Super Bowl type, I think there's a good honorable mention here, but I think you have to go Joe Burrow for tearing his ACL last year and being in the Super Bowl this year and being the primary reason why they are. So I'm going to go Joe Burrow.
Yeah, that's who I got too, man.
Yeah.
he's established himself in my mind as a top 5 quarterback in the league already.
He's up there.
Of course, that's me talking out my rear end, not sitting here and discussing who the quarterbacks are. But, it's going to be hard to name 4 other quarterbacks better than him. And when you consider he's come off the ACL injury, how he and Jamar Chase single-handedly have led, or double-handedly have led this team to the Super Bowl.
Technically quadruple-handedly.
It's insane. Quadruple-handedly. There you go, man. Hey, quadruple-handedly. Dr. Octagon here. It's just one of the situations where you got to start quarterback, and he is really delivering on the task. And that's why you invest in a star quarterback and number 1 overall.
He's a stud, man. He's a stud. Luke, who you got, man?
Go Tigers.
Yeah, same answer, man. You can't go wrong with him.
Yeah, I do think Nick Bosa is a good honorable mention. I really do.
Mm-hmm.
All right, what
Go
about
Tigers.
breakout player of the year? We'll go opposite order. How about Luke?
I am going Jonathan Taylor, who I heard on the Cowherd podcast today. Man, he's an awesome interview. Super smart.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, in college he was really good, but you never know how those college guys do in the NFL. And it seemed like he was decent last year, but just flew under the radar, man. This year just killed it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was good last year, but reached like alien level this year. It's ridiculous. Him and Eckler were on the herd today, and I thought they were both really good interviewees. Josh, who you got?
Yeah, sure. I'm going to go Hunter Renfrow, actually, the former Clemson walk-on who managed to get drafted.
Yeah.
Not only make a team, but the dude got drafted, and now all of a sudden he's become one of the stars of fantasy football. Had a great season, man. The number 1 receiver after RIP Henry Ruggs may or may not have killed a couple people. We'll let that rest. We'll let that marinate. Let that ride. You can feel me. Y'all heard. But we'll let that sit for a minute. But Hunter Renfrow, man, the number 1 wide receiver on the Raiders, man. He has just been a stud this year. And I just remember watching his game against the Broncos. We were in the kitchen of my aunt and uncle's house up here, and up in the cold Midwest part of Michigan. And we're just kind of all huddled around the TV watching him against the Broncos. And the dude just got open, man.
Dude, he just gets
Patrick
open.
Surtain, who were high on, against Bryce Callahan, against all these guys, Justin Simmons. He just did these dig routes, these slant routes.
Yeah.
The dude just knows how to play football. If you were going to describe a white athlete, he meets every single mark of it. Well, first one in, last one to leave, bring a lunch pail to work kind of guy. Great wide receiver.
Mm-hmm.
Hunter Renfrow.
Well, I'm not going white person, but I am going to stay home in San Francisco. Deebo Samuel. Deebo Samuel, man. The first wide back in the league. Arguably the team MVP this year. His yards from scrimmage are ridiculous. His total touchdowns he even had a passing touchdown this year. He was unbelievable this year. I'm going Deebo Samuel, man, my breakout player.
That's an awesome pick, man. That guy can do everything.
Everything.
And he wants to battle on the field, man. He's so competitive.
There's a play against Arizona the first time where Trey Lance hit him on a little out route or something like that. And he was obviously going to go out of bounds because he had no shot at a touchdown. There are like 3 guys here. And his intention is to go out of bounds. But before he does that, he just decides, bang, hit a shoulder on somebody and then walk out. It's like, he didn't have to do that.
He's too big to be that fast, man. I mean,
he's 220 pounds.
Yeah, God, he's amazing.
I don't know if you guys saw it.
It's magical how he hits the edge. Go ahead.
No, it is, man. I don't know if you guys saw it. There's actually been a bunch of college recruits talking about it, how Deebo was quoted. I forget what interview it was in, but he said, we've created a new position in San Francisco, the wide back.
Yeah.
And in fact, callback, one of these players, I won't say the name so I don't get called out by Luke, quoted him as saying like, kind of like, that's what I want to be. And there was a bunch of college players I saw as far as on Twitter and on these message boards and things, kind of quoting Debo, being like, hey, I want to be a wide back, or like, hey, that's kind of my role. And, you see that now where Debo Samuel, as Steve and I have talked about off air and even on air, is the equivalent of what the Panthers wanted with Curtis Samuel, of what the Seahawks wanted with Percy Harvin, of what all these teams wanted with these specialty kind of slot guys. Tavon Austin, the Cowboys have them now.
But
The Rams draft them. Exactly. These kind of tweeners.
Yeah.
Are you a slot receiver? Are you a running back?
Yeah.
Well, heck, you're not either. You're just a huge rocked up kind of in between.
You're just a football player, man.
And we're going to put you in a slot. We're going to put you in the backfield.
Yeah.
And that's the great thing about Kyle Shanahan is they've just created a new position just because, screw it, we're going to put our best player in our position of need. And part of it, like you guys said, is the reason why we were even in the playoffs, is why we even got the NFC Championship, is because of the decision to move Debo to that wide back position.
Yeah, he's so unique, and scouts are going to try to look for the next Debo Samuel, but it's not going to be easy to find. All right, let's go to Coach of the Year. And Josh, why don't you start out this one? You haven't started out one yet.
Sure. I'm going to go Rich Bisaccia. Rich Bisaccia.
Vegas.
A little bit of Friccone, a little bit of Organo, a little bit of tomato sauce. He's a great guy, man. And he got him to the playoffs, man. And especially in a situation where you lose your coach a few games into the year, for them to rally.
Yeah.
Derek Carr is the face of your franchise. That My Chemical Romance wannabe. Good Lord Almighty, take me to the Black Parade. For Rich Bisaccia or Bisaccia, I still don't know how to say his name.
Bisaccia, but yeah.
Yeah, whatever, screw you. For him to be able to get him to the playoffs is just a marvel in itself. Considering how much Josh Jacobs was torn up this year, how Hunter Renfrow, as I talked about, still being a breakout player of the year, was your number one wide receiver, losing Henry Ruggs, Derek Carr being the face of the franchise, Darren Waller being hurt. They still showed up. They still performed. They still got to the playoffs. Rich Bisaccia
Nice.
is my coach of the year.
I like it. I'm going to go Mike Vrabel because Tennessee, with Ryan Tannehill, who is limited, don't you dare. He has a limited quarterback. He lost Derrick Henry. He lost Julio Jones. He lost A.J. Brown. They rostered more players than any team in NFL history, and he got the 1 seed in the AFC. That alone is all I need. I got Mike Vrabel.
Wait on me. Okay. I think Josh made a really good point, man. I feel like mine's pretty lame for that. No, not as good as Josh.
Dude, you do a spit take on the laptop again?
What? He didn't have Derrick Henry most of the year.
He had him for half the year, man, until he got hurt.
He did, man.
Gosh.
A limited quarterback and losing your 3 best players.
Go Rich.
And more injuries than anyone ever. And you get the 1 seed with the Chiefs and the Bills in your conference.
Freaking Rich Bisaccia was a special teams coordinator. It was his first chance at a coordinating role or a coaching role on a team that was outside of special teams, where he was not just a position coach, and he rallied them to a 10-win season. Man.
I give more credit to Carr.
That's BS, man.
No,
Carr is one of those overrated quarterbacks.
He's top 12.
Oh, whatever, dude. He is so full of crap. I'm ready to rock and roll, man. Let me just do a spit take on the laptop right 12. Now, man.
It's funny, man. I don't know what to say about Carr. Sometimes he can play well, but top 12, man.
Dude,
I don't know.
There are not as many good quarterbacks.
Steve, shut up. Steve, shut up. I'm the host now. Luke, here's the thing. You just shut up. You're done. You're done for the rest of the episode. You ought to be quiet for the rest of the episode.
I love that.
Luke, so in theory, right, Carr is not a top 15 quarterback. And that's the issue I came up with earlier today when we talked about off air Jimmy Garoppolo being a top, 20, 25 quarterback. There's not 20, 25 other quarterbacks. And that's the issue with Derek Carr. In theory, he shouldn't be that. And I'm with you 100%. But it's just like, who do you replace him with? There's not that talent in the league
That's my
right
point.
now. But still, Steve, and this is where I come at you now that I've kind of slowly eased Luke out of the creek onto the shore. I'm going to come at you and drown you in the river.
Nice.
You're welcome. It doesn't mean that he's your franchise quarterback. It doesn't mean for whatever reason he got you to the playoffs. Rich Bisaccia and his fettuccine Alfredo got you to the playoffs, man.
I have to disagree.
The way he rallied the way he rallied the locker room is something special. They bought into him, and they would not have bought into John Gruden in that same way. There's no way Derek Carr would have performed in that same way. There's no way any other position coach
He was balling
would have
out
got.
when John Gruden was there, though.
Oh, whatever.
He was doing 400 yards a game before John Gruden got fired.
And they
Look it
still
up.
lost games.
It's not like
And
the
they still
record
lost games.
drastically improved when Gruden left.
Well, they made the playoffs.
I mean, they were on track to make the playoffs with Gruden, though.
The Broncos went 7-10, and 2 of those losses were to the
What?
Raiders.
What's your point?
If John Gruden was coaching,
Maybe.
hey,
I
maybe
hate
the
to-
Broncos win those
hey,
games.
I don't even dislike your pick for him as coach of the year. I think he did a good job, but I just think Carr was more important too. But we,
Oh, whatever.
Yeah.
Derek Carr is going to be the lead singer in the next Green Day concert I attend
Probably
in
so.
Allendale, Michigan. I mean,
who's
good
Luke's
Lord,
pick?
what are we
Let's
doing
go.
here, man?
Luke's pick.
Give me a couple Keystone Lights, and I'll listen to a
You
Derek
don't even
Carr
have to hear my
concert.
pick, man.
No,
What are we
just
doing,
pick.
man?
Y'all's pick were. I was just gonna stick at home with Shanny just for a homer pick, man.
All right, cool. Shanahan, let's do it.
Yeah. Hey, thanks, Luke. Appreciate it. You backing off mine. I needed your support. I thought I had it. And much like a undecided voter, you screwed me in the end. So thanks for voting for Hillary, you son of a gun.
I'm independent, man.
Yeah, check out Tower 7 while you're at it and go listen to my Bert and Ernie intro.
All right, man.
Hey,
Here
Bert.
we go. I think this is probably one of the easiest ones. Defensive Rookie of the Year. I got Micah Parsons.
Yeah, that's who I got too, man. I mean, it's
That one's
just
easy. He had an
it's just too obvious,
year.
man.
Mhm.
Surtain was really, really good this year, but Parsons was like top 5, 6 at his
Parsons
position.
made
year
the
one.
Pro Bowl for a reason, man.
Oh,
And
yeah,
I know the Pro
absolutely.
Bowl is just a load of crap and it's just whatever. But
Uh,
for him to still make it there, it says something. Surtain didn't. Parsons did. There's a reason why. And
Parsons was
Wow.
a superstar year one.
yeah, dude. He was the reason the Cowboys defense was an option in fantasy football. Single-handedly. So Parsons for me too.
All right, more important, linebacker or corner?
Just what's more
That's
valuable?
tough.
Mm-hmm.
Corner.
It depends on what kind of linebacker we're talking about. If they're going to be the quarterback of the defense, or if they're just Aziz Al-Shaair, kind of outside backer.
Hey, don't talk bad about Al-Shaair.
I just say, if it's going to be, a middle linebacker like a Fred Warner, I'll go MLB, Major League Baseball. And if it's going to be, some kind of outside backer, I guess I'll go corner.
I'll go corner either way.
Yeah, I was
shut
thinking
up,
corner
dude.
too, man. I hate that I didn't
In
pick
today's league,
Surtain.
It-
Yeah,
No,
10
it
years
just
ago.
dude,
I changed my
you
pick
guys
to
are talking out of
Surtain
your
from
rear
Michael
end, man.
Parsons.
You guys
Yeah.
are talking out of your rear end. The 49ers haven't had a shutdown corner even with Ambry in
Well, yeah,
years and years and years. Even back to the Harbaugh era, they haven't had years. I mean, they haven't had a shutdown corner. It comes down to the linebacker and them controlling the defense, getting everybody lined up, the quarterback of the defense. That's what it comes down to.
pass rush first, and their pass rush is good enough where they can drop 7 into coverage.
I still,
play
man,
heavy
I still don't
zone.
even think that. You
Imagine if
can
we had
get
a
in
corner, man. 3rd and
you
18
get a
would be
piss and
no
match
more.
over
Good
that. You
grief.
get a piss and match over that because of, hey, is the pass rush helping out the secondary? Is the secondary helping out the pass rush? It don't matter. What it
On
comes
the
down
49ers
to is,
case, it's pass rush though.
well, sure, but back in the day, it might have been the secondary.
Yeah.
It definitely intertwined, and there's a reasonable argument to be made for either or. Hey, is the secondary buying time for the pass rush to get home?
Oh
Is
yeah,
the pass rush
absolutely.
getting home quicker than the
No, it
secondary
varies on
locking up?
scheme and roster,
Sure,
no doubt.
yeah, sure, but I guess I don't even know what we're even talking about at this point. We've
Me neither.
deviated from Micah Parsons so hard, but I'll make my point of I think
What is it?
if you were doing a Madden draft and you
Uh-huh.
had a 99 overall linebacker, 99 overall corner, I'm taking 99 overall linebacker every day.
I would take the corner, but
I'm taking the corner, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey,
it's
you
just
guys are
different.
idiots.
It's just
You guys are idiots, man. But hey, do what you want to do, man. Patrick Willis is stomping on your grave, and he ain't gonna come to your funeral. So,
all right.
Whatever.
Offensive rookie of the year. I think we'll agree on this again, and hopefully there are no.
Sure.
Well,
Yeah,
actually,
sure.
Luke is smirking, so.
I'll make kind of a point about it.
What, you think I'm going to go back Jones or something? Bro,
Luke
I'm
go
telling you
first.
now. I'm telling you now. If NFL ever goes to two-hand touch, y'all better watch out for my boy Mac Jones, man. That dude showed out. Two-hand touch, man.
Hey,
Yeah.
Steve, go to Luke first. I don't want to be the guy that keeps this trend rolling if we all agree on the same thing.
All right. Who do you pick, Luke?
It's got to be Jamar, man. It's easy.
I'm picking Jamar.
All right, I'm going Jamar too. We'll just keep the train rolling.
Overall,
Keep it
rookie of the
moving.
year,
Keep it moving.
Jamar or Micah?
I'm going Jamar, man.
Okay.
Just the impact that he's made. You and I talked about it. In fact, in our first episode, before the Luke Ellis era, we talked about it, and it was like, hey, the Bengals are idiots for not drafting Sewell, for not drafting any sort of offensive line help, for not drafting any defensive help even. Why did you take Jamar Chase when you got Tyler Boyd, T. Higgins, Joe Mixon, and all these guys?
It was the right
But
decision.
we were proven wrong. And it turns out you don't need 10 seconds if you can get the ball out in 5.
Yeah.
So that's where we're at. So I'm going to go Jamar Chase, just specifically on the fact of the impact that he's provided to these Bengals. Joe Burrow got the job done, but he couldn't got it done without Jamar.
You know what? I was actually going to say Micah, but I think you kind of convinced me to say Chase. I don't know. It's tough, but I think I'm going to lean Chase now.
I get why you guys are saying that, but I'm going to stick with my man Patrick Surtain, because the one time
Yes.
they played,
All right.
he held Mr. Jamar Chase to 1 catch and 5 yards, man.
Ooh,
Dude
true.
locked him up.
True.
And I remember, because I lost the fantasy football that week. Thank you, Patrick Surtain. Good for me.
Yeah, that's true.
No, dude, that's
Don't cut deep personally.
it's scary to think about if the Broncos can retain that secondary of Justin Simmons, Bryce Callahan, Patrick Surtain, and then the Bengals can retain T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, Jamar Chase. Those are scary defensive backfields and scary
That'd be a sick
offensive
matchup.
skill position weapons. So, they may not play each other every year, but those are both crazy talented units. So it's going to be interesting to see how this offseason goes with contracts coming up. Bryce Callahan's a free agent, all these things. But, Patrick Surtain, Justin Simmons, Bryce Callahan, that's a crazy backfield. And then, of course, with the Bengals and things. So I get it 100%, Luke.
All right, offensive player of the year. I'll go ahead. I'm going to say Cooper Kupp. Triple Crown, led the NFL in catches, yards, and receiving touchdowns. Crazy breakout year. I'll go Cooper Kupp for me. There are a couple good options, though.
Yeah, I guess I'll go Cooper Cup too. That's who I had written down. I wish I had prepared more for that for a backup option, but the dude is just he's a straight baller. And I remember when he came out of Eastern Washington, because if you've ever played NCAA football on a PlayStation 2 or PlayStation 3, you remember Eastern Washington's field is bright red and they're not hard to identify. So you remember where Cooper Cup played, and I've been following him for as long as he's been in the league. And it just seemed like he needed a quarterback to get him the ball. Jared Goff was always a guy who was a check down guy, and he still is, even in Detroit, in the great state of Michigan. And won't put the ball down the field, won't matriculate the ball down the field. But Cooper Cup has had a chance to shine this year, and he's really shown his prowess as being an upper echelon of wide receivers. He has surpassed, in my mind, the Wes Welker, Julian Edelman.
Oh, no doubt. And he's a guy. He's
sneaky
6'2",
athleticism,
215. Like, he's actually a big guy too. He's not a tiny slot guy.
Yeah, no, the thing
He's a
about
big guy.
the thing about Cooper, and I guess I'll shut up after this.
We'll see.
When you think about shut up. When you think about white wide receivers, it's usually Adam Thielen lined up wide, or Julian Edelman, Wes Welker, Danny Amendola lined up in the slot. Cooper can be moved anywhere. And that was what we really saw in the NFC Championship game against us. Was not only was he lined up wide against Ambry, against Mosley, he was lined up in the slot against K1. He was matched up against Fred Warner. He was moved all over the place. And that's the ability that he brings you, and the skill that he gives you is you can move him anywhere on the field. So along with his stats,
super
that's why he's
versatile.
Yeah, sure. And compared to his other white counterparts, I think he's definitely one of the better ones.
Who you got, Luke?
How long has Cup been in the league?
2016.
I was going to say it was 5 or 6 years.
Is it?
Let me see.
Long
The
enough to
only
get a
reason
contract.
I asked is because, like, before this year,
17.
I saw his name come up in fantasy football, and I think, dang, Cooper Cup is really good when he's healthy, but he seemed to get hurt every year for some reason. I don't know why. I'm sure he didn't, but no, we'll give the 49-yard dash triple crown to Cooper Cup here as well.
Nice.
Yeah.
What an awesome thing that just happened. He did miss. It looks like he did miss like half the games, and he didn't start a lot of the games in his first couple of years. So that could be why too.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
He's just a good story, man.
Oh yeah, coming from a small school.
My wife has played TikTok enough where I've watched it, and apparently, according to TikTok, his wife supported him through college and allowed him to pursue the NFL career, which led him to where he's at now, being a multi-millionaire, all these things. He's just a great story to follow. And he's a great guy by all accounts and by all intents and purposes. So, kudos to Cooper Cup. I hate that he was part of the reason we lost,
Yeah.
in the NFC Championship game. But, in my mind, he wins the offensive MVP.
Definitely.
Because of all the reasons we've stated.
I think this one is probably also as easy. Defensive Player of the Year. I'll go first. It's TJ Watt. He tied the sack record and only played 14 games. It's TJ Watt.
Yeah, that's who I'm going to. For all the reasons you stated. Yeah, although briefly. Just the impact he made. You watched that Steelers-Chiefs game there in the wild card round of the playoffs, and it was like, man, the only reason it was close
At the
early
beginning was TJ
was
Watt.
because of TJ Watt.
Yeah.
We've had arguments here when we've done our drafts and stuff, our mock team building drafts and things, of where these pass rushers rank, but there's no doubt that TJ Watt is the best pass rusher in football right now, in my mind. Yeah, edge rusher. Well, pass rusher too. But just in general, playing at edge, playing at that D position, at the anchor position, the way he lines up and all those things, he's just so versatile and so elite. He's got such a higher ceiling than even his brother. I think we're going to be seeing a dominant performance from him for a long time.
Oh, I think you have to put him at number one edge rushers right now. Luke, it didn't seem quite as easy to you. I don't know from your facial expression. Do you have someone else in mind?
No. I was trying to think of who I'd pick for.
Oh, okay.
Apparently, I didn't look at that one, but yeah, it's obvious. TJ Watt. I mean, with Jimmy G behind the offensive line next year, they're really going to have a shot at the Super Bowl.
Luke's gonna pick
Yes.
his hometown Steelers in the first
Yeah.
team.
The Steelers, baby.
Episode.
Steel
Yeah.
curtain.
You know what? I
Yeah.
think really it was the Steelers secondary that helped the pass rush, and not the pass rush helping the secondary. So I just want to make that point to you guys. We got to share the award a little bit,
Honorable
I will
mention Nick
say-
Bosa. Oh no.
I know it's serious, but it is going to be interesting how the Steelers how the Steelers spend their free agency money. This offseason, they got Big Ben coming off the books at like close to $20 million a year. You got an opportunity, of course, to replace him with a guy like Jimmy G. Do you go for a rookie? Do you build around that offensive line? Maybe help them out a little bit with these free agents coming up. Juju is going to be free agent. He's talking about leaving, potentially joining up with some other teams. So it's going to be interesting to see how kind of they develop going forward. The last thing you want to do is waste a generational talent, a generational defense in this steel curtain.
That's why I've been saying everybody has them drafting a quarterback, and maybe they will, but I think even if they do, they'll bring in a veteran to start over, to bridge at most.
Yeah.
I don't see Tomlin wanting to start over with a rookie right now.
Well, that's the thing is who are you going to draft and then sign in free agency? You can sign Ryan Fitzpatrick. Obviously Fitzmagic he's Fitzmagic, but that's 3 years since that's been a thing.
Yeah.
So
I'm not sure what'll look.
Who do you go with? Who do you sign? But you can't waste TJ Watt. You can't waste Minka's best years. You can't waste Devin Bush and all this, man. You can't do that.
Yeah, Cam Hayward doesn't have a lot left. So true.
Can't, man.
All right. Overall MVP. I went first the last like 3 times. Somebody else go first.
All right, I'll go. TJ Watt, because of all the reasons TJ Watt, for all the reasons we mentioned, Aaron Rodgers was up there close for me. Cooper Kupp was up there close, obviously, but I'll go TJ Watt just because of the impact he gave. You watched him, like we talked about, in the Chiefs playoff game. That was the only reason they were in that game, just because of the impact he gave. So TJ Watt.
Nice. I like it. Luke?
I'm going homework pick. Just give it to TB12, man. He didn't get the Lombardi as he went now, so just give him the MVP. And hope he comes back next year, man. I miss him already.
Well, I'm gonna go with who I think is going to win it, Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, I got Aaron Rodgers again. Number 1 seed. He had that one funky New Orleans game, but after that, 37 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. Only lost 1 game after that because the other loss was the Jordan Love game. So yeah, I'm going Aaron Rodgers. He was unbelievable again.
So let's put on our conspiracy theory caps here for just a second. Luke made a good point. He hopes Tom Brady comes back next year. Could Tom Brady have possibly retired?
No.
Because
No.
the Buccaneers were blowing up and he wanted to take a break for a little bit. If Tom Brady were to come back, Steven, Caleb Ellis, where would you like to see him land on?
Okay, I thought you were going somewhere else with this. My bad.
No, I'm not. I'm not going to go into a deep, dark Alex Jones conspiracy hole. But where would you think Tom Brady might end up if he does come out of retirement? And I'd like to get Luke's thoughts on this too.
If he did, I actually think the place he would have in mind might be San Francisco, but I'm going to say no, that it doesn't happen.
Okay. Luke?
I was thinking that too because, that was like his favorite team growing up. And that'd be cool to win one for him, man.
But I still say
I'm kind of with you guys. I think he's probably going to set out a year, appease his wife, and maybe come back a year and unfortunately, with the Patriots, they've got their guy, whether he's great or not, and Mac Jones.
He should go to the
They're
Browns.
they're going to stick with him. Yeah, and that's kind of the thing is, and that's as a Michigan fan, watching Tom Brady my whole life, having close family members who are ride or die with Tom Brady, who have ditched the Lions for the Patriots because of Tom Brady. It's hard to think of him as being some kind of mercenary who's going to join up another team just to win a Super Bowl. But you could see that going forward. And hey, maybe he comes back for the Browns. Maybe he comes back for the Titans. Maybe he comes back for some other team, the 49ers or whatever. But, it's hard to see him. It's hard to see him come back out of retirement to just win another one for the sake of winning another one,
Yeah. If anybody would do it, though, it'd be great.
Mhm.
Let me see. We are a decent, a little bit over an hour. Do you guys want to spend this last bit on teams that we underrated and overrated, or do you want to do my "It's a True or False" segment?
Let's just do them both, man. Let's fly through
I am not
the
sure.
last little superlatives, and I
All
will
right,
expound on it.
all right.
Let's just fly through them, man.
Okay. Who is a team that you overrated before the season started coming in?
I'll go Ravens just because I thought I trusted Lamar more than that. Although I didn't think Lamar was a pure passer, I thought he would contribute more than that. John Harbaugh was a great coach, but they just didn't have enough on offense or defense to get through that.
No, they're another team that was destroyed with injuries too. For me, I'll say it was the Panthers. I actually had them slipping in as the 7th seed in our little preview show, and they went 5-12 and looked bad.
Sam Darnold.
And after Sam Darnold's hot start, it fell off a cliff. And I think that was his last chance to maybe save his career, and it didn't happen.
Yeah.
So he's not a starting NFL quarterback, I don't think. As sad as that is for me. So, Panthers. Go ahead, Luke. I'm depressed now.
I am going to surprise pick the New York Jets because I expect them to suck. But, good old Zach Wilson brought them to a new level of sucking. So, I overrated them hardcore.
That is the best. That is the best.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, my God.
Lord. There's a little Bobby for you.
Thanks, man.
Little treat. You're welcome, man.
That was by far the best one. I think me and Josh can agree that was the best one. Teams that you underrated.
Was made it this far. I'll go the Patriots. I didn't put that much stock in Mac Jones. I still don't put that much stock in Mac Jones. But I thought he would be more so a Jake Walker type of quarterback. That's a name you haven't heard in a while. But, I didn't think he would be a Kirk Cousins level guy. And he has been this year. Not an accurate passer, but he did what Bill Belichick and Josh McDaniels wanted to do this year. It's going to be interesting to see what he does next year with the new offensive coordinator, with McDaniels taking the Raiders job. But I'm going to go with the Patriots just because I expected them and predicted them early on to not make the playoffs. So I'll go with the Patriots.
I will pick I think the easy pick for everybody here is the Bengals, but I'm going to go with the Raiders because they are a team that I actually picked to finish last in their division. And they finished second and made the playoffs, even over the Chargers. So they were impressive this year, 10-7, made the playoffs. I'm going the Raiders. I thought they would suck.
I'm going the easy pick with the Bengals.
Nice.
But I thought they'd be good, but
my man.
Yeah.
It's another team. I picked them to finish last in the division. They're in the freaking Super Bowl.
I did too.
Yeah, I think probably just about everybody did. When we thought the Steelers would be solid and the Browns would be really good, we always expect the Ravens to make the playoffs. Yeah, the Bengals are definitely the easiest pick there. All right, guys. I'm eager for this one. This is something that I came up with right before the show. So I'm going to throw this out there. I'm going to give you two statements. Only one of them is a fact. You got to pick out which one is true, which one is false. All right. Okay. Brett Favre, his interception percentage, how often he throws an interception per attempt, is higher than Sam Darnold's. Troy Polamalu had more interceptions in his rookie season than he did for the rest of his career combined. Which one is true? Which one is false?
I'll go Brett Favre, Sam Darnold as being
Mhm.
true, and the Troy Polamalu as being false.
Okay.
That's what I was leaning. I'll go opposite. Yeah, I'll go opposite.
Okay. The Favre Darnold one is true. The reason I wrote
Dang.
that Polamalu thing is because I was looking at Ronnie Lott first, and that's actually the case with him.
Huh.
So I just made up another elite safety name and just replaced it. But that actually is true for Ronnie Lott. All right, here we go again. Justin Herbert, as we know, set the NFL rookie record for touchdowns, passing touchdowns in a season last year. He did this with Pro Football Focus's 32nd ranked offensive line. Or the upcoming NFL draft prospect, Drake London, was only able to play 8 games this year. Despite that, not only did he lead the nation in contested catches, he led the nation in yards after catch. Which one is true, the Drake London or the Justin Herbert?
Drake London.
Yeah, Drake London.
It's the Justin Herbert.
Dang.
Drake London did
I
lead in
was with you,
contested
Luke.
catches,
Shut up,
but
Steve.
not
No
yards
one
after
cares.
catch.
No one cares. No one cares. No one cares. You got
Herbert did
Caleb
do that.
Williams. Congrats on Caleb Williams and Amon-Ra St. Brown's illegitimate child starting at slot receiver. You know, you got who you want at USC.
Yeah, that's true. And I love Drake. All right. Last one. Aaron Rodgers was drafted in 2005. We know that because they picked Alex Smith over him. And he's 38 years old as of last December. 38. Brandon Weeden, who played for the Browns, Cowboys, Texans, he was always a backup, was drafted in 2012. He is older than Aaron Rodgers. The other one is LaDainian Tomlinson, set the NFL season rushing record in 2006 with 27 rushing touchdowns. Tied for second place is Sean Alexander with 26, but he did this in only 13 games. Which one is true, the Alexander or the Brandon Weeden?
The LaDainian Tomlinson one.
Okay.
I'm going Whedon.
It's the Weeden one. He was drafted 7 years later, but is older
Really?
than Aaron Rodgers.
Really? Dude, I'm gonna say this now for the record. I was, of course, a 49ers fan growing up, but man, I was a big LT fan. And I had his jersey and everything, those midnight blues and those baby blues, man. I had both those jerseys. I was a big LT, that smoke visor, man.
The LT part is
coming
true.
at you in a different way, man. And
The Sean Alexander part isn't.
well, Sean Alexander, of course, being an Alabama running back, Luke has an affiliation to him, was a very underrated guy. It's a shame that Matt Hasselbeck was running back. Sean Alexander was the face of Madden football. And then I forget what year it was. I want to say 07. He fell off a cliff. But the first Ben Roethlisberger Super Bowl was Sean Alexander's last. It was in Detroit, Michigan at the brand new Ford Field. And Matt Hasselbeck choked that away. A 24-14 Pittsburgh Steelers win.
Wow.
I still remember it clear as day. But it's a shame ruining Sean Alexander's career. But again, that's why I jumped the gun. Congrats, Luke, on getting that one right.
Nice. So you guys, you split on the first and third, but both got the middle wrong.
Thanks, Steve.
I knew that Drake London one would throw Luke off, especially because I just texted him about the contested catches, but I added in the yards after catch. That's the part that was a lie.
Should have known he just picks random USC guys for.
Yeah, dude. Hey, what was that?
I had
backup running back to
three.
Reggie Bush,
I had 3 USC guys in this segment.
Not
I
surprised,
forget the
man.
dude.
Oh, White.
Yeah. Sorry, Steve.
His last name was White, and I can't remember his first
Yeah,
name.
Ladarius White, LaShawn
Oh.
White, LaDainian Tomlinson White. Oh, what was his name?
I'm a USC fan, and I'm blanking. Oh, well.
Yeah. Hey, man, we got to look it up before we close the podcast. USC 2006. Look up the football team.
Dang it.
Oh, man, they got a category on Wikipedia. Before the season, game summaries, legacy, 2006, team players in the NFL, deaths. They have a category for deaths on the team.
Deaths?
Deaths.
Good
That's not a
Lord.
good category for Pete Carroll, man. I'm gonna tell you
No.
what right now,
Dude,
dude. I can't.
Irritating me.
We got to find this guy. This is great podcasting.
Who are you looking for?
The guy that backed up Reggie
Lendale.
Bush.
Lendale
White.
Oh,
Sorry.
Lendale.
White, dude.
Yeah.
Lendale
He was a stud,
freaking
too.
White, man.
It
That
was
dude put on 50 pounds. Go ahead.
no, it was Thunder and Lightning with him and Reggie, right?
Yes.
Is that what
Sure
they called
was.
him? Yeah.
It was more like KFC gravy and butter. But hey, Lendale was a chubby guy, man.
Yeah.
He didn't get the Bush push. It's called the Bush push, not the KFC biscuit and gravy push, man. I tell you what, man, that was not. He was a chubby guy, man. I was watching the ESPN 30 for 30, the Trojan Award about the USC Trojans during the Pete Carroll era, and man, Lendale was a chubby guy, man.
Yeah,
He was like
a
worse
thick
off
boy.
than me, man.
He was a,
Oh man, he was
a thick boy
taking
for
some
sure.
natty. He was taking some natty lights and some Kraft macaroni and cheese, man. It was rough. It was rough.
All right, Josh, man, you got to end this on a high note with your fact of the week, man.
Sure. So, you guys are familiar with drugs, right? You guys, know people take drugs. Take drugs yourself. Illicit drugs.
Yeah.
So, fun fact: 90% of the U.S. currency. You're familiar with the dollar bill? Keep a little coin in your pocket, right? Keep a little coin in your pocket.
Yeah.
90% of the U.S. currency has cocaine on it. So if you ever get desperate, you pull out that $3 bill and take a sniff in a different way, and you can catch a little bit off that little dollar bill, man, because 90% of the currency has cocaine on it, man. So I just want to tell you all that.
Oh my gosh. Sweet. Back in the day,
Nice.
man.
Thanks, man.
No wonder people were rich.
That's
back in the
current.
day.
That's not back in the day. That's current.
You know what it reminds me of? You're supposed to say what?
What?
Jim and Dwight, in the conference room. Dwight shows him a picture of marijuana, and Jim's like, "How can you be sure it wasn't you if marijuana is a memory loss drug?" How much weed did you smoke? Sorry, that wasn't a direct quote.
Remember, he holds it up to Creed. He's like, "What is this?" He's like, "That's Northern Lights cannabis." No, it's marijuana.
When Michael goes out to the warehouse to make a deal on some caprese salad.
It's like $500. I'm losing money on this. Hurry up. It's ridiculous.
It's some romaine lettuce and ranch. Dude,
All right, guys,
Screw
that
the
was a fun one,
podcast.
man.
hey, screw the podcast. Let's start a romaine lettuce money laundering business. Luke's in, I'm in.
Podcast.
Let's start it, man. Let's do it.
Yeah, we're just quoting stuff. All right, we'll get out of here. Hope you enjoyed it. We really enjoyed it, doing those segments, and I'm still shocked that Luke didn't try to make a case for Mac Jones as Offensive Rookie of the Year, but it was more of a pleasant surprise. So yeah, that's that. We'll be back to review the Super Bowl next week, and me and Josh are going to do a back-to-back mock draft maybe this upcoming week, and Luke is going to caress the face of Jimmy Garoppolo.
I miss you, Jimmy.
Busy with
Miss
Jimmy.
you, man. Golly.
That's it. 49-yard dash. I'm Steven. That's Josh. That's Luke. Peace out, everybody.